But what if you had a roommate and you had a child and then the roommate takes care of the baby too? What I think I might be looking for is help.
I was like,
no, but you could all look after the baby and then it could be everyone's together. Hi, I'm insert joke here, Phoebe.
and I'm Jacque.
And welcome to Do You Ever Feel Like?
Where we ask the questions that everyone's thinking and no one's answering.
How are you?
Who am I? Who am I? Who are we?
Who are you? Sorry. Who are you? Right? Well, that's why I felt a bit bad. We're recording on a Sunday right now, and I was like, when I asked, I was like, I know we've been busy girls. We haven't really had a day off the last couple of weeks. I felt rude asking you to record on a Sunday, but also it's like,
Here's how I feel.
I'm sorry about what's got to get done's got to get done.
What needs to be done needs to be done. We need to walk our talk of like, look, everything is not going to be a sleigh. Not everything is going to be 100% all the time.
Not everything's a sleigh 100% of the time. And that's upsetting to me.
But we have to keep going. We have to show up. And also, here's how I kind of feel. I've like ghosted you with editing. And so I come and do this whenever you want. It's kind of,
yeah.
I feel like
I'm your boss.
You get to give
Sometimes
me
I'm
a
your
call
boss.
time and I have to show up and I have to just be fine with that because I don't edit the podcast.
I like that because like sometimes I like when you're my boss.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We have
like,
certain
that's
things
nice.
like that in our business.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're my boss when it comes to the podcast. So fine.
No, love
You
it.
know?
I love it. Yes, we're back from retreat. I feel like once again a new person, which I didn't think I would feel like a new person, but I don't know how to relate. Like I had to go anger antiquing yesterday because I couldn't talk to the man in my house.
I walked into a floral shop today
You went to Walter Pine,
and I was like, this is how it should be all the time.
What did you buy?
Oh, not a thing.
Oh, good for you. Wow.
I didn't buy. I know it was hard.
I fucking love that.
You know what I do when I
The way you love Babazar is the way I love Walter Pine.
we have our like yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
He has become like such a little old man. He's like, no,
Yeah.
son, like
That's
get away.
so funny.
Like,
That's so funny. Is it because he can't see much?
He can't see anymore.
That's probably
really.
it.
So yeah, he's scared. So he's like, well, is that a
Yeah.
furniture? Is that a shadow? Is that a thing? Is that an animal? Is like he
Yeah.
doesn't know what he's doing. So he gets really scared. So we just have to live in a dungeon. Speaking of the daylight causing issue, daylight savings time.
yeah. It
What
was
is
today.
this? What is
I
this?
know.
Every year, I'm like, must we have this? Can we please not?
I know. I mean, I'm just kind of rolling with it. It is what it is. But I really wanted to have a sleep in today.
I know.
And because this is the first day in weeks and weeks I've had the time to have a sleep in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, it's like 10 o'clock, but it's not, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
It was so weird to be having my coffee at like 9 a.m. I was like, you know how I am because I have had my coffee before 9 a.m. And I'm like, what is this? I don't understand.
So wait, is it going to be light out tonight?
Longer, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
For everyone but
Here's
Ollie.
the thing that it's like dumb. That's nice. Why is it shocking every time? Like I've been on Earth for decades now and I'm like, what is it? How does this work?
Yeah.
Where are we? Who are we?
Yeah.
Does anyone know?
With people with kids too, I'm like, blessings.
I know. Well, we have dogs. My dog's going to have a tantrum for dinner.
Oh,
an hour earlier.
No, he at 3 o'clock because Ollie will get fed anywhere between like 4 and 6. He has an early dinner, and at 3 o'clock he was like, "What's up? Are we going outside? Are we getting a meal?"
Yeah, it's pretty.
Also,
funny.
I don't want to go out
Winona
there because
does
it's so sunny.
Winona does this like reverse tippy tap situation and like stomps her feet at me. I'm like, please leave me alone.
I've seen it. it's like an interpretive dance. It's like she's like performing for her supper. She's like, I have to do a little bit of something.
I think she thinks that she's so small sometimes that she like disappears. And so she's like, I am here. Mother,
everyone
see me.
See my performance.
The animals.
Anyway,
yes, we're back from retreat. Did you get caught up on White Lotus yet?
I did.
I'm loving this season.
These haters out here hating.
Okay, here's the thing about your internet versus my internet. Yeah. I'm never seeing the haters. Like, and you know what? I'm actually never even seeing the opinions.
Good for you.
About the culture.
You've curated quite well.
I think it's because I'm not actually on the, like, I just post. Like,
no. I'm sick. I'm like a different. Yeah.
I just post and I say, everyone shut up, sit down and listen to me.
Right.
And then I leave.
Yeah, that's a really healthy way. I feel like it's seasons. I feel like I used to be like that, and now I'm in my season.
Yeah, you really are.
I really
You're
am.
in your scroll season.
I'm in my scroll season.
But people don't like this season.
People are like, it's boring. It's like, when is the action gonna happen? Like, there's too much exposition. Who cares?
You know what I feel? You know how I feel? That's racist.
Same. Yeah, totally. I think it is. I think it's also like
fully, right? Fully. Like, because now we have like brown people.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like
right.
You and I.
Oh, Jacqueline had to tell me to stop talking about eugenics at the party recently. I was like, it's my special interest.
I know.
I got the look. I got the eugenic. Stop talking about eugenics. You're the only one I'll do that for.
Stop talking about eugenics?
Yeah.
Oh,
because if you're telling me to stop talking about eugenics, then I really need to stop talking about eugenics.
There's a lot.
If somebody else tells me to stop talking about eugenics, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah. There are a lot of things that you and I will only do for each other. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway, White Lotus.
White Lotus. I think that. I also think I think this is, okay, we've got season 3 syndrome, right?
Yes.
For sure. Like, we are like, okay,
yes.
The first one, slay. Everyone's like, oh, you get like infected. Yeah. You're like, oh my God, great. Yeah. Season 2, you like.
2 is a party.
You're down for the party. Exactly. And you're like looking for all the things in like season 1 or whatever. Season 3, you understand the pattern. You understand what's happening now. And this is the slump that happens with every single show in season 3 is like, what is it kind of expected to happen, period. But also I think what people are experiencing. They're like, I think
that's what it is, because I'm really liking this season.
I love it.
And I mean, I'm sitting there the same way I've sat there every single other season where I'm like breaking out in hives. It's so fucking tense. I want to die. So tense. Like, I want to die. That fucking girls trip scene. Are we really going to talk about Trump? I was like, that's what my sleep paralysis demon looks like. That fucking woman.
Okay. When we were watching it, and I had not seen any spoilers or anything. I was particularly trying to stay away from the internet. And then we were watching it yesterday, and which like also there's another one coming out tonight, whatever. We were watching it, and I was like, I said to Jacque, I was like, what if all of them are like crazy? Like, I was like, what if they're all white women, right? So I was like, what if the thing that Mike's gonna do is that they're all like really conservative? That
would be really funny. Like one's like really crunchy granola.
Yeah. Like they're all like different like types of this woman or whatever.
Well, they've kind of already seeded that a little bit. With the like pairing off of the group of 3, which is so it's funny that we always talk about this trio because it's like it gives me hives.
3.
We've done we always have to do a White Lotus check.
We always have to do a White Lotus check-in. I think that's really a lot. Like 3 on a girls trip versus 4, or like 2. The 3 of it all.
My iconic friends group makes the 3 work. I don't know how we do it.
I don't know how you do it either.
I think about this. I probably have sent this to you, but I think it's so funny. There's like that TikTok sound that's like, why are like named like 3 best friends are never going to the same location. One's always dressed like the sluttiest housewife at the Slavic farmers market. Donna in an off Broadway remake of Mamma Mia, and like teen emo, like, has it grown up kind of. Yeah, I know it's fucked up. Like, it's, and the three of us, like, obviously I'm the Slavic housewife, if that isn't abundantly clear.
Mhm.
And it's like, we'll show up and we'll look at each other like, wow, we really can't get it together. No. The three of us can't even. Anyway, I'm just part of Iconic 3. You know, it is what it is.
White Lit, like, it's very good. And also, guys, I hate to break it to you, but wee woos were not in every opening song of White Lotus.
No,
like,
no,
it
I know.
changes every year on purpose.
It
like,
changes every year, and I love that he didn't give us a banger. Like, I'm like, Mike White sat down and went like, here, you want dinner? Mother's here to feed you.
Mhm.
Here's what I made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love that.
I
love that.
I've known
it's not pandering.
No,
you know,
I am noticing this sound that we're getting in the intensity though of like sex. Are you hearing that?
Oh no, the monkeys are stressing me.
The monkeys
out
are stressing
so
me
bad.
out too, but you'll start to notice it now. It's like women moaning
Interesting.
at various points.
Interesting. Did you watch the Walton Goggins Hudson Valley AD at all?
I have not. I have saved it.
Why do I have it down bad for this bizarre looking man?
Oh, wow.
For this bizarre looking man.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I'm like, sure. He's like talking
kind
about
of
like
how it goes though, honestly, right?
Yeah, I only like a weirdo. I'm not gonna lie. You know,
I mean,
I can't imagine. You know, like a chiseled thing in my room with me. No. No.
Gross.
You don't want that.
Gross.
I'm the star around here.
No.
You know.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And then did you watch your Oscars?
Okay, I've been watching clips and I'm kind of fine with that because
Whoa.
I know. It's because I went to the woods. I think I'm kind of okay with it because I'm so pissed. Like that. Like I'm disappointed. You know, so I think that's what it is. Like, I'm fine.
It's like,
it's weird. Like, the New York Times someone in the New York Times wrote an article called "Why Were the Oscars So Weird This Year?"
And like, okay, Conan nailed it. He's so funny. I was so glad that like he's so good.
Yeah,
and you know, I think he's so good because Simon and I were talking about it. He's just so good at his craft. Like, and he's not. I mean, I loved his joke, like, or the opening joke that he was. Demi Moore substance baby, like
he's weird,
you know,
and I think that's the thing that I like about him is like he's so weird.
Yeah,
he's not gonna go kind of typical like roasty like whatever like moment. Like he's weird. He's like gonna make it about the movies.
He's always been a bit of an outsider too, and I think that kind of gives him an actual edge to be able to talk. Like, oh my god, his jokes were like the Carla Sofia Vergara. Wait, I always forget her name.
No, that's right.
Carla Sofia what? I feel like I'm like mixing up.
You're mixing up Sofia Vergara
and
Carlos Garcia.
Not Garcon. Right? That fucking woman's name. Whatever. She's a demon. Anyway, I can't think of her name. With that joke that more F slurs than her Twitter. Like, that's so funny. Carla Sofia. Oh, I'm stroking out, man. Whatever. What's her name? It doesn't matter. Okay. Also, apparently she was all accidentally stoned. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. I love that. You know, go off. Anyway.
There were some really good looks at this Oscars, I will say. But besides that, I wasn't. In the opening performance with Ariana, I mean, oh my
I rewatched that the other day, and because I've been singing, you know this, I've been on a Les Mis kick for the last 127 hours, give or take, and it's continued. And I was rewatching that, her fucking vibrato, and like still, okay, actually, how does she do that? Still jaw smiling.
This is what I'm saying.
Vibrato. Squeeze me.
Exactly.
Squeeze me. Baking powder. How do you do that?
I know. Also, I just want to be clear. I said Ariana, but I meant Cynthia. I mean, Ariana and Cynthia did a great job. So we're talking about Cynthia right now. Yes. The chin. It's like everything is so dropped. I don't know how she does. I don't know. No, there's absolutely no forcing. It's like totally effortless. She's in probably a corset in that dress. She's like,
I know. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, you're singing that in that outfit too?
It's wild. It's so wild.
Crazy.
Meanwhile, on retreat, we're all trying to sing it, sounding like a pack of hyenas, like screaming and forcing the high E out of our bodies. Like
that was such a choice for us all.
Oh.
But anyway,
to do karaoke on retreat was really a choice. That was a choice.
That was really funny.
It was really
funny. I didn't realize that we had accidentally collected a bunch of theater kids.
I know.
I should come with a warning.
There were some surprise theater kids that I did not know.
No, that's what I mean.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
And I'm like, y'all giving me all this crap about theater. Are you kidding?
I know. It's great. Anyway.
We had a fun time. We really went to the woods and we had fun. It was
we had a lot of fun.
F-U-N.
Well, anyway, let's get to the question. Do you ever feel like roommates? And they were roommates.
My mom and her roommate of 25 years. Yeah, I don't know. Roommates? I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't know.
How did you have a roommate? When was the last time you had a roommate?
Okay, well, this is what I'm saying.
I mean, aside from the one that you have right now. I think it's really funny to call my boyfriend my roommate, and people think it's really rude, and I don't give a shit. I think that's peak comedy.
That's peak comedy, and also like
that's hilarious.
That's people not wanting to be honest about anything, and that annoys me.
I'm hooking up with my roommate. What can I say?
Also, sometimes they are your roommate. Sometimes they're just a person you live with in your house, and maybe you speak to them, and maybe you don't, and maybe you argue over the dishes, and maybe you don't. Like that, like. Please, what is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Did I have roommates? Yes, I have. I had college roommates. I had roommates I lived with when I transferred schools, like in an apartment off campus. I didn't know them really. I met them.
Do you have roommates when you first went to university?
I did.
College? Like assigned? Who was your assigned roommate?
My assigned roommate, I lived in the international house when I first went to school. My assigned roommate was Sachiko from Japan.
Why were you in the international house?
Because I wanted to be.
Oh, okay.
You can like.
I thought that's like.
No, you can like apply. So,
I'm like, you're from here, bitch.
Well, that was kind of the point. The point was international students were paired with students from the U.S. so that they, whatever, could like bond and blah, 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 blah.
Are you still best friends?
Sachiko and I have a lovely Instagram thread that goes on anytime I post about Jacque, because Jacque's been around for a while. Sachiko will be like, Jacque,
cute.
Yes, I did. And Sachiko and I had a lovely time. Great time.
Really? That's so rare.
I know.
Especially that age.
Oh yeah. Sachiko was my first roommate. 18, living with her. We had a blast.
Cute. I don't know. I was thinking
at least
about
I think we did. That's my experience. Maybe Sachiko was like, you were a terrible roommate.
Fucking bitch.
I mean, I had
this fucking bitch.
I will say it was so funny to be paired with Sachiko because I have Leslie and me and how I grew up, and I have my whole life in my room. Because my mom was also selling our childhood home as I moved into college. So I literally had everything that I would ever have with me. Yeah. And Sachiko's like, I just got off a plane.
Yeah.
Why do you have so much stuff?
That's really funny.
Anyways.
That's really funny. Yeah. I was thinking about that because I was thinking about, we'll talk about bad roommates in a minute, but I was like, am I somebody's bad roommate?
What I mean. I think that's true of all of us, and we all need to come to terms. Exactly.
Yeah. Like we all have bad roommate stories, but like, what happens when you're the bad roommate? But then like many of these stories, like I feel like I hear a bad roommate story, and you're like, how does somebody not know how to be a fucking person in the world? Like, what the hell? It's such a funny age too, because I think you really see like, college roommates, university roommates or whatever. When you're like a dorm. I was never in a dorm, but like my university was, I mean, you saw it. It's like a building.
Yeah.
That's it. It was a very small university. It didn't have any kind of like campus, which is kind of a bit of a regret that I have, honestly.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I remember going to see like my friend Sierra, she went to Guelph, or like I remember I did a gig once at McMaster University and like going onto their campus, and I was like, oh, like it's so fun to have like this whole world that you get to like be immersed in or whatever, which I didn't have at all.
Yeah.
Instead I went to art school. So anyway,
it was cool to have that experience and have like a quad, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of, it's funny because you kind of make the like space, like it was not the school space at all, but like we had like I think, did we go into the Grange when you were in Toronto? Yeah. So like we made the Grange area like, it was like student center area or whatever. Anyway, really good food in the Grange. If anyone's downtown Toronto, Corrines, shout out Corrines in Tybray. Anyway, but yeah, no, it's a funny, tender little age where you're like, I don't know. I knew how to be a person. I knew how to be an adult at the age of 18. Like I knew how to make a meal and do these things, but not everybody that you're living with, like, was traumatized like you and I into like being self-sufficient enough.
I know.
Some people had nice childhoods. Other people, you know, arrived onto campus being like, I know how to make anything. Yeah. I've been living by myself for decades.
Yeah. Exactly. I think like we all like our house had like these really pretty rooms that everybody shared, but we all had shared bathrooms on each floor.
I mean, you went to like a stunning, beautiful.
I went to like a lovely school. Yeah, my school is in Sandra Oh. My God, what's that show she recently did on Netflix? That Campus. That's my school. I went to.
You said recently.
Whatever, 3 years
like
ago.
5-6 years old. Okay. My school is in the opening credits of Kim's Convenience.
Oh, yes. What is that school? What is that show called?
Was it called like The Dean or something like that? Wasn't it called, or like Collegiate or
College?
It was called
University.
It's called, yeah.
It was called something like that. Yes. And that's always where the drama was. Especially, I went to an all-women's undergrad where I had roommates. When I moved to Chicago for my other school, I had an apartment of roommates off campus. But that's where the drama was. The drama was in the shared bathrooms. You know?
Oh, no.
I mean, I also think it's like cleanliness, picking up after yourself, not leaving your shit. Like when you have shared bathrooms. Yeah. You know? And I always thought it was so strange when people would be like weird about, I mean, I'm a clean gal. Some would say maybe crazy about it. But I think that, you know, I don't know. If we're at a private college and there's been staff assigned to clean the bathroom, but like it's gross and they're not there, maybe clean the bathroom. Maybe be an adult. Maybe go like, get cleaning supplies and clean the bathroom and clean up after yourself, or clean it if you want to take a shower, and don't complain and be weird about it. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Anyway,
just an example of what you're talking about. Adulthood. Like cleaning up after yourself. You know,
cleaning up after yourself. We'll get into the bad roommate stories in a minute. But I was thinking about this because I was thinking, so have you seen the word a boomerang kids floating around the internet at all? I only stumbled across it recently. Anyway, it's this word used to kind of describe kids that have come back because of the housing crisis, essentially.
Oh, like in the basement of their parents' house.
Yeah. Maybe. Oh, okay. Maybe. But yeah, like this living arrangement of, okay, so I was thinking about it like this. I've been trying to move for about a year. It's fucking nuts out there. As we all know, wherever the heck you are. I'm in Southern Ontario, one of the most expensive places to live in the world. Mm-hmm. Isn't that fun? I think it actually outranks San Francisco in terms of like affordability.
Oh, interesting.
Like food, like salary, housing cost. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Because salaries are higher in San Francisco. Anyway, however they measure like affordability. I see. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hamilton, Toronto, Niagara, more expensive. Anyway, and so I've been thinking about roommates. Mm-hmm. I've been thinking about roommates, and this like word has been coming up quite a bit as I've been like, I don't know, considering it. I have not had a roommate other than the man that lives in my house since oh my God, let me think about it.
Yeah, I know.
Probably 7 years ago was the last time. Maybe longer.
Longer
8?
than that.
8? No, because we lived together in Toronto, but we had roommates.
Oh, you did? The first place you lived? You had roommates?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. 8 years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I've just been thinking about it, but there's all like these like crazy statistics, and I think it's funny. I mean, as like many things, so much gets like chucked onto our generation as like laziness, which I was thinking about this. This is like kind of a mini aside. You know how like Gen Z's like millennials were what?
Fucked?
You know what I mean? But like, well, yes, but like, what's the like stereotype of millennials? Because the stereotype of Gen Z was like that they're lazy, right? And I think the stereotype of like millennials is like maybe we don't know the cost of it, like the avocado toast.
Oh,
right.
I think people think millennials are entitled.
Entitled, yes, and like the stereotype of Gen Z is
they don't want to work,
lazy. Yeah, it was so funny.
We
so
are fine with working,
things.
But we feel entitled to the avocado coast.
We feel
yeah.
But Gen Z is lazy because they don't want to work or something like that, which I always think is funny. It's like obviously what we're talking about is like larger economic issues, right. Blah 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 blah. But I just think it's funny the way that we like talk about these things, and especially when we like cutesify them for the internet, where it's like. Yeah, boomerang child. And it's like the housing market's so fucking unaffordable that even adults with salaries can't afford to live and work. You know what I mean? Like, come on, people.
Scary.
Anyway, so I was thinking about this. I have a couple of statistics that I think are kind of interesting.
Slay.
In 1997, the most common living arrangement for an adult aged between 18 and 34 was being in a couple with children. Also, this is I have statistics from the UK, America, and Canada. Okay. So this is a British statistic. Okay. Now, the most common living arrangement in 2025 is living with your parents. Mad. In the US, the majority of young adults live with their parents, and it has never been higher since the Great Depression. I was gonna say. Yeah. So before 2020, the highest measured value of children living with their parents was in the 1940s, when 48% of young adults live with their parents. I think that is hilarious context to think about.
Wow.
Is this light entertainment podcast thrilling? And then lastly, because I was thinking about roommates, roommate households are the fastest growing living arrangement in Canada. So people are choosing not to necessarily live with their parents, but try and make some sort of like collage of living work.
Yeah. Couples and a roommate. I know like people like, you know, couples will couple with like, you know, and do like a three bedroom or whatever. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are talking about it too, especially if like you don't have family close by or you're trying to live in a major city or something like that.
Where the jobs are.
Where the jobs
where the salaries are.
You have to go into work again.
Don't get me started.
You have to go. If someone made me go somewhere,
no,
to go and do something,
no. I think that is like really truly upsetting, especially because the remote work or like the hybrid work, it gave women obviously like so much more economic, like not advantage. Well, yeah, I guess it's advantage, right? Like the ability to be able to create more economic advantage, right? By being able to have this kind of thing. And it's like another way that we're oppressing people is by being like, go into a 4-walled room. It's just like so stupid.
I know. It's so dark. I do think about getting a roommate again, but like someone who grew up, so I'm one of 4 and we always, and actually I literally forgot about this the other day. I grew up next door to my aunt as well. So like we always had family with us. We always like had a, you know,
random
rotating
visitor.
Friend. Yeah. Like my mom's best friend lived with us on and off for periods of time. My aunts lived with us, like cousins, whatever. Like we always had somebody around. And I think, because I was talking about this, was it with you the other day about sharing? I had to share everything as a kid. I had to share everything. And all I have ever wanted is like my own fucking space. Right. And I have that. now, you know? And I'm like, that is a really valuable thing. That's a huge privilege to have. And I don't know how cool I am with, I got a whole room for just Phoebe right now.
Okay. Interesting. I was like, where are we going with this?
Where are we going? Nowhere is the point.
Well, I think that's something to really think about too. Exactly. Like when I see, you know, the closed storefronts in Philly.
I know.
Or, you know, the huge, you know, issues that we have, especially, I mean, I think it's like, I mean, I think obviously it's like this in Canada. I mean, I've seen it in Hamilton, how you all have a ton
it's where I live very specifically. It's a lot like that. Like multi-million-dollar houses.
And then empty storefronts.
Derelict buildings.
Wild.
Next door to each other.
That's how it is in Philly. And I think about just like space. Like literal space for unhoused people, for people who are, for migrants, for people who are immigrants, for people who like, it's just, and I think about that a lot as far as like what people need, you know, like physical space and how like, in my living room, two people, honestly, a family could sleep in here probably. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
Oh, I know. I don't know. And I think I also think about this too in terms of like aging, right? Which I really feel like I realized I was like, Jacqueline, I got to have a conversation about this because the real life Golden Girls thing is becoming so much more of a thing.
Oh, these men, they die. Like they die young. Because they
I know you're really going to have a lot of time on your hands.
Because they don't take care of themselves.
No.
And then we got all these women.
I know.
Yeah.
They bop it around. You get like another 20 years after that.
Exactly.
It's so much more of a thing than I ever thought. There was like, it also, I don't know if it's just because it was the way the news was being served to me. I tried to like look for other places. It's a big thing in Ontario.
Oh,
like I found like a
really?
bunch of news items. I guess maybe because there's like land around here. So that's what a lot of like the very popular thing is like building kind of like multiple small buildings. I guess is like not roommates, but
commune.
For the all intents and purposes, commune of this pod. It's thrilling. So fun. And then one story I found, I'll put these in the show notes. This group of women, the front half of the property is like for family. So like when their families come visit, but the back half is girls only. So like no one's like no grandkids in the backyard. Like it's like their area. And they talk about like we walk around naked, we hang out, we have fires. Like it's like no boys allowed zone.
I love that.
That's so fun.
I love that. It's a big thing in the UK, I think, too. The women coming together.
Yeah, so I was reading it. A lot of people were like, even if I wanted to be in this gal, oh fuck, what's her name? She was really funny. I'll link this in the show notes once again. But she was like, even if I wanted to go in a retirement home, I can't afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even if I wanted to I don't know, get pneumonia and die 8 months after I walk through the front like doors of that building. They're so expensive.
Yeah, really expensive. Crazy.
Yeah.
Like $10,000 a month expensive. Like nuts. Yep. I know. It's like, you know who I was chatting with about this? Your mother.
Oh, shout out Judy.
When I was visiting.
She's listening.
Last time. And we were just talking about, you know, what.
I was actually thinking about you and my mother being roommates when you were visiting.
Yeah. We were roommates.
You kind of were.
We had lovely chats. I think like 30, like, you know, she was talking about like how 30 somethings, how she has no idea how we're going to do it, how we're going to like do the thing. And like,
isn't it? You're just like, all right.
Like,
so it is really hard. Great.
Cool. Because she was like, Because she was like, yeah, it was fucked. Basically, you know, it was hard when I was your age, let alone how you know, it's wild. It's so wild. I was looking at
It is really nice because I do have family members, extended family members, I will say, who are like, grow up, you know, like it was hard too. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no.
Like it literally was not. It was like you have no idea what you're talking about.
No.
Hey, shut up. It's not about you.
You have no idea what we're talking about. We just got Philadelphia Magazine that has a whole article about the housing like differences and how it was like $80,000. Oh, they referenced an episode of Boy Meets World because Boy Meets World takes place in Philadelphia. And
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Corey and what the fuck is her name again? Topanga?
Hey, what the fuck's that name? Did you, as sidebar, did you see that like drama on their rewatch podcast at all? That's so funny.
So
I love the idea of being like, it's there's like a Little Britain sketch that's like, I'm the only gay in the village, and she's like, you hate me because I'm a sex worker, and she's like, I literally was in Maxim magazine. Like
that's so funny. So Corey and Topanga, fictionally in the show, after they graduate high school, they like experiment with the idea of buying a home. And it's like 80
after they graduate high school.
Yeah. And this realtor woman is like trying to convince them, like they all do, snakes, to try and get, to like get this house. So the house is $80,000 and it's like a 3-bedroom, 2 blah 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 whatever. So they use this example, and then they compare it to now, which like the income salary hasn't changed of the median income in Philadelphia being $40,000 a year.
Nope.
But the house.
This is what I mean when I say shut the fuck up. What are you saying?
The housing now, if the comparable home from that time, which we're talking early 90s here, right? Well, not even mid, is $250,000 to $300,000 a year, or $300,000 for the cost of a home. And so, shut up, everyone. That's saying it's
shut up.
It's not the same.
No,
also,
I know.
Eggs are $8. Not to be that person, but they are. Like, or not even that, like, groceries, whatever, right? Like, it actually costs more money to, like, buy your basic needs.
Be alive.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know. I know.
So everyone get a roommate. Slay.
Everyone get a roommate. Well, okay. So this was my thought. I was like, everyone get a roommate. And then I think about it for 0.3 more seconds. And I go, oh, God.
No.
So roommate horror stories. I was going to ask people to write in, but I was like, I feel like I've had so many roommates. Write in after. You've had so many roommates. True. Write in after. Yeah. Holler in the comments if you're on Substack or send us a DM. Yeah. I'd love to hear from you. But roommate horror stories.
I don't.
Do you not have any? Oh my God.
I'm so boring. I'm literally boring. When I discovered that, I think the most horrible thing I discovered was that like people were racist, but like, duh. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Wait, like, what do you mean? Like, you had roommates that were racist?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I think if you had a roommate that was like a white person at any given point.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of those as well.
But
as like the worst thing.
Like, no, I don't know.
Really?
I mean, here's what I will say. And like, I have done the living with your sibling as an adult. And that was the whole thing. But
I am getting hives thinking about.
Yeah.
Could you imagine me and my sister?
No. Could you imagine
me and my sister?
Your sister, and Simon? Because that's what my situation was.
How many bedrooms? How many bedrooms are we talking about here? Okay.
2 bedrooms.
See, the sex sounds enough is not enough for me. Mom, stop listening. That's not enough to convince. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we made it work, but there was a lot of drama. And I just don't feel like I can really go there on the pod.
No, so that's fine. It's for the book. So you're going to have to wait in line. So I was thinking about this so I lived in the rectory rooms of a church when I first moved to Toronto.
I think that's weird. Sorry.
What part of it?
I think
it wasn't inside the church. I know your feelings about community.
I don't like it. I mean, it's also church too because like of my own like Catholic school shit, right? Like I'm like weird. But
this was an Anglican church.
Okay, that's a little better. I find it weird. I'm like, what? No one is sleeping there except people who like need it. That's how I feel about those spaces. It's strange.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So this was a house that was on the church property.
Oh, I didn't hear you. It was like a rectory. Did you say that? I didn't hear that.
Yes. I just said the word church and you went off. Hey, Jacqueline, we all fucking know you went to Catholic school, all right? Give it a rest.
Calm down. Okay, excuse me. I'm here now with you. Thank you. Okay.
There was two, so it was like, actually, I think it was an Anglican church. I think it was. I didn't go to church, so I don't fucking know these things. So it was like the old rectory. It was like a house that was on like the church property. So we like rented our landlord was the treasurer of the church, who was this man who was just like in the house constantly. We had to have a conversation with him about how he's not allowed to fucking do that. Like this place. And I can't even, it was one of those things too where I was like, I can't believe like so many things. I can't believe my parents like let me go out in the world and do these things.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Wearing a mesh, like just wearing no clothing, being like, I don't know where I'm going and I don't know when I'm going to be back. Bye.
Yeah.
Also, I'm 16. You know what I mean? I brought that up to my mom recently and she was like, I was like, you did a bad job. And she was like, what am I supposed to do? And I was like, good point.
Arguably, she did a great job.
No, yeah, she did a great. Yeah, I was like, I can't believe you just let me walk around with no top on, man, downtown. She was like, what am I going to do? Yell at you?
You have no control over these demons.
Yeah, you have no control.
When they're 16. Anyways, yeah.
Anyway, but like I remember like I'm moving to Toronto. I'm moving into these like extremely questionable. Like my rent was like, I think it was like $300 or something like that. Wow. Like it was nothing. Yeah. We found it from like a friend of a friend because she was moving out. The church got wise to their little scheme too, and they ended up charging us way more. Which they
were you like it was subletting or whatever from this person?
No, like they had no idea really what they had basically, and like the church ended up going bankrupt. It's not a church anymore.
That's what I was doing, like last
yeah. Oh yeah, like
effort
last ditch effort. Yeah,
like,
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So we rented these like rooms. So I had like it was like it was the third floor of this house and it had its own little kitchen. It was like really cute. Nice. That's where Heidi and I lived. But we were like, so we kind of had like our own space. And then we had like the main house underneath us where we had a bunch of different roommates. But I had this one roommate who still fucking owes me $50. Put some what's the price increase for the internet? Interest. What's the interest on that? But like in like 2010 money, she probably owes me like $300 now. She still owes me $50. And I remember like she moved out. She was mad. Like she did weird shit all the time. But she moved out and I was like, you owe me $50 for the internet still. Because I was the one that managed everything in the house, obviously. And she was like, I don't owe you $50. Like, stop harassing me, and like blocked me. So I was like, okay, never mind. But I think of her often. You know what? How she owes me $50 fucking dollars.
Take that $50 and do something good with it. Ex-bad roommate. Yeah. That's how I feel about that.
I don't know where certain. I haven't even looked her up. I wonder if I'm allowed to. She like blocked me really thoroughly on things. Well. She was mad. But I had a roommate that. She was just very strange. She would like go into our studio all of the time and like use it. Oh, actually, my kitchen table that I still have, you know, the kitchen table, it's got like holes in it because she was like drilling something in my studio on my table and like drilled a hole in my table. Okay. Like just like weird, odd shit. Yeah. You know, like that, like I had a lot of lows. But like I had a roommate who forgot to turn the tap off. She like never, her parents loved her clearly, and it made her an idiot.
Yeah.
And she just did all these like bizarre, like crazy little foolish things all the time. But she left the tap on in the sink once, and then the sink like flooded. Like the sink was clogged, and then she flooded the bathroom via the sink, and it was so severe that it was pouring through to the first floor. So it was the bathroom on the second floor was like and I was upstairs with Heidi and we heard the fire alarm going off, and because the fire alarm was full of fucking water.
Oh my god.
Which I didn't know fire alarms will go off. They
like a
hit
flood.
water as well.
Yeah.
I called her and I was like, hey, you need to come home. You flooded the bathroom, which also is like not even really our space. I'm like just cleaning up for you. Aren't I so nice? And she was like, oh, I'm with some friends. I'll be back home in a couple of hours. I'm like, okay.
Cool.
What?
Great.
What? Yeah. So that's what I mean. I'm like, I don't know. I think of a roommate. And I'm like,
yeah, will they flood my bathroom? Yeah, I also think it's like that show on Netflix. Nobody wants this. That show. Is it like
I didn't watch it.
Weird? Is it at some point, is it weird to have a roommate when you're like 35, 36
I
years
don't
old?
think so, because I'd like to, I'm literally saying I'd like to, and this is how we used to live, you know, capitalism,
right?
The nuclear family,
Exactly. Yeah.
White, heterosexual patriarchy, heteronormative patriarchy is the thing that says that, Jacqueline, you know, interrogate the beast inside you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying,
does she have a roommate in that show?
No, she doesn't have a roommate. But what I'm saying is that in the same way that I'm watching that story being like, this is weird. Like, y'all are 45 years old and this is like, you're all acting like you're 20. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is it the same thing? Is it like weird to be like, and I didn't say 30, which you are. I said like 35, 36. Like, what is the cutoff for a roommate?
But we're just saying it's cool when you're 60.
I think you. I think.
But what if you had a roommate and you had a child and then the roommate takes care of the baby too? What I think I might be looking for is help.
I was like,
no, but you could all look after the baby and then it could be everyone's together. I think we're both describing plots. That's what, 3 men and a baby?
fine. That's an option for life. Sure. Great. I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's like, whatever it is, however you want to cut it off. At some point, you're an adult, and then you're an adult. You're a baby, and then you're an adult. And then when you get old, you're a baby again. So, like,
so when you're a kid, right. Okay.
Like when you're a kid, you can have a roommate, and when you are old, you can have a roommate. But in the middle, you can't have a roommate.
Conceptually, I love the idea of having a roommate. Yeah. I really do. One of my mom's friends, he's got this like stunning house. Mm-hmm. Him and all of his, like, he's got a couple of roommates, and they're all artists, and it's slay.
Okay, now we're talking about something else.
Jacqueline is like, there are rules. Some people can have roommates, unless you're a loser, then you have to live alone. Sometimes it makes you a loser. Other times it makes you slay.
What are you trying
But that's all it is. Like these artists trying to live in a city, you know, if you're a gig worker or whatever.
Yeah. What are you trying to do in the world is really what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Yeah. Look, have a roommate. Fine. Whatever. I'm just saying, like, where does it get weird at any point? Does it get weird at any age?
I mean, I think it gets weird. I think it's the type of roommate. I mean, I see it too. Like sometimes I'll see like the ads for, roommate wanted or something like that. And sometimes like it's an older gal looking for someone to like sublet a room in her house. I'm like, maybe that's me.
Sure.
I could the buddy comment, but I'm a loud gal.
You're allowed.
I make a lot of noise.
And there's a couple of we don't have to do this. This is off the podcast.
Oh my God.
I think you would love to have a roommate when it's like happy, haha, fun time. Mm-hmm. And then I think it would ruin your life. Like you would be unwell.
Because you don't get to make any more sound for the day. Silence.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the things I've screamed. Okay, you know what? I am the crazy roommate sometimes. Yeah. I've screamed at people.
Do you ever feel like you're the bad roommate?
You're the bad roommate.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's what I was thinking about when you were like, you have no bad roommate stories from my like one apart. I'm like, it's me.
Because
I was the insane one, probably.
But were you the insane one because you just wanted things to be fucking normal and not nasty?
Yeah.
Because that was me.
I wanted things to be normal.
I was yelling about that
not
shit.
Nasty. And also
we were talking about this the other day too. People were always jacking up the heat in my house, like walking around with their undies on, being like, I'm cold. Bitch, it's February. Put a sweater on. Why are you turning me into my father?
Yeah, put some clothes on.
shit like that.
Stuff like that. I think too, it's like when you get, I think this is a little obviously what we're talking about. When you get different people that have had different economic upbringings in one house, it can get like weird, especially around food, saving food, throwing food away, sharing food, like that whole thing.
Sharing food.
Ooh.
How are you when there's like a big meal? What do you do? What's your reaction to
everyone
food on your plate?
Everyone having to eat it?
There's there's pizza. How much pizza you grab? There's a bunch of people. You grab
I've
one
heard
slice?
this before. Yeah.
You getting a bunch.
Well, I think it's like, people do it for different reasons. Like I would only grab a little bit of pizza for the sake of the group. But I think there are people who would grab a lot of pizza because then maybe they won't eat anything. You know what I mean?
I don't think that. Yeah, I just always think it's funny. I remember having like a very distinct moment with a friend, and everybody I was probably like 17 or something like that, and my friend and I, like, we had a lot of siblings. Our families made like less money comparatively to everybody else in the group. Like, I think also like I've had to work since I was 15. Yeah. Not like whatever. Right. This is a whole other episode. Right. Anyway, we were like getting pizza, and like my friend and I, like, we put like a single slice of pizza on our plate, and like a small, because there was like a bunch of people and everybody else like put a ton of food on. I was like, it's just always interesting. Yeah. Oh, right? Like those moments that like unveil like a whole other thing that's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I was always the roommate that had like all the stuff, and I think that's my problem. My problem is like, it's my couch, it's my TV, it's my thing, it's my chair, it's my blah, blah. And I would bring all this shit because I was like, no, this is mine. This is mine, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And I would get like weird about if people like spilled shit on things,
But like it is just common decency stuff. Yeah. Like, I remember having a party at my university house, and it was New Year's. And like, those like fucking random people that show up, like a friend of a friend showed up, and I was I don't think I invited you, but okay. Yeah. He, again, very different economic background. I went to a weird high school. Anyway, by weird, I mean everyone's parents were doctors. Except for mine. Yeah. Mine are artists. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't realize we were doing an economics episode, but obviously we are.
I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember he like spilt something on the carpet, and it wasn't a nice carpet or anything. Like it was like our shitty like gray carpet that place came with, and he just looked at me and shrugged, and I was like, you are from hell. You're a demon from hell.
Yeah, no.
And now I have to fight you. And
I mean, here's the thing about roommates. They're a great equalizer, right? Like,
totally.
I think everyone should have roommates, especially, going from childhood to adulthood. It's, the people of the world like that need to meet a Phoebe.
It's just like the jobs thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just like the jobs thing. You can tell who hasn't had roommates, right? Before in their life.
Yeah. I also think too, selfishly, I don't want anyone else in your home for when I come and see you. So
okay, well then it's settled.
That's how I
won't get a roommate. I won't get a roommate.
You could do whatever you want.
But what if they're looking after? What if it's a second caretaker for me?
Again, I think we're confusing a roommate for help.
Manservant. Oh, okay.
And not, the help. That's not what I mean. I mean, like, literally just like you wanting more help in your life. Because
no, I didn't think you were Dame Maggie Smith all of a sudden. Don't worry.
Oh my gosh. Maybe you did with how I opened up this episode. Doesn't she fucking hate like overhead lighting and shit? Isn't she like?
No, you're thinking of Kate Blanchett.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of.
I think
she doesn't like overhead lighting.
If you told me that a woman didn't like overhead lighting, was being a bit of a prima donna, I would say good for her.
Yeah, no surprise.
Good for her.
Yeah, I don't know. That could be an interesting way to go. I think like artist houses, communes, communal living, all of that.
I have a friend that grew up on a peach commune.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. She loved it.
Like a...
Don't know. I think peach was their export.
I was going to say, like a farm?
Canadian peaches are like a whole thing.
Oh, they are.
Ontario peaches.
Interesting. Okay.
We got a peach festival.
Wow. I had no idea.
The Winona Peach Festival, except for in Ontario, they spell it with a Y, so it's Winona, and people pronounce my dog's name at the vet Winona. It fucking pisses me off. Get that Southern Ontario nonsense out of your mouth and say it with the I.
Interesting.
All right?
Interesting.
Anyway.
Roommates.
They were roommates. Anyway, get a roommate, don't get a roommate, survive the economic depression, recession we're all in. Do what you all need to. Actually, you know what I have? This is my old roommate's ruler. So I got one on her. You take my $50, I'll take your fucking ruler, bitch. I'll take your fucking ruler, bitch. You want it back? Cost $50.
I'm trying to think of the last time. I mean, obviously, besides living with my brother and Jacque, I'm trying to think of the last time. Hold on, I'm doing some math. Yeah, the last time I lived with roommates, minus the time I lived with my brother and Jacque, was 12 years ago.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
How long have you and Jacque lived together?
12 years. Like after
right.
that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The way,
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Anyway. Okay. Anyway, well, that's the end of this episode. I don't know why I did economics on a Sunday afternoon and have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
Send us your roommate stories. We'd love to hear.
Yeah, send us your roommate stories. Hop in the comments.
If you're considering
babes.
We'd love to chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you want to be my roommate. Does someone want to come make dinner for me? What's going on? Leave us your ratings and reviewings. Hey, okay, this is an aside.
Okay.
I know we're at the end of the episode. The people that care, that give, I've been asking the people very shamelessly for the ratings and reviewings.
Yeah.
You know who leaves them is artists. Other people that make shit.
Yes.
So if you don't make shit, leave me a review.
Yeah.
What's your problem?
Also, if you're anyone in our life listening to this that goes out of your way to text us specifically about loving the podcast, we welcome.
There's 3 people I'm thinking of right now.
We welcome that
you to write it
message
in an Apple podcast review.
Please put it in a review because it will do so much more than sitting in our text messages. Copy and paste right now.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of effort.
Now. Love the pod. Put it in an Apple review.
Please.
Also 5 stars. Okay. Do I even have to say that? 5 stars. But anyway. Okay. That's it for us.
Yes, that's it.
All right. Bye. Wait. Okay. Bye. We're doing our outro wrong. I know. Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.